What's up, YouTube? Today I am at the range and I'm gonna go through arrow selection. Not what kind of arrows do you want to buy, but once you have your arrows bought, shooting your arrows, numbering them 1 through whatever 6, as far as what's good and what's a bad arrow. Just picking out the arrows that shoots the best. So I've already shot a couple arrows. I'm at 90 yards. Basically what I'm doing is trying to get ready to shoot some antelope. Since you can never get very close in hay fields, I'm trying to pick out some arrows that fly really good. I'm at 90 now, and then I'm gonna try to see if I can get back to, I'm gonna try to get all the way back to 110. Woo! Ended up holding that one a little bit long. But, so when you're shooting long range, it's important to make sure you use the right form, whatever the form is that you practice with all the time, whatever you shoot with. Just make sure when you raise up and draw down, that you go through your shot process, whatever your shot process is. You keep a good, same consistent grip, consistent face pressure, sight picture, let your pin float. You gotta trust that pin float and squeeze nice and slow, like you just seen on that video. I was moving a lot, but I was basically just letting my pin float in there, and as it was floating, whether it was coming off target or back on target or not, I was pulling the trigger. So I have up and down, it's beautiful. 3 arrows. So this one's center, just right of center, and just a little bit right of that. But at 90 yards, there's a tiny bit of wind down here. A little bit of wind, but not a whole lot. But so, for an example, my sight pin, it floats up and down a lot. I don't have any left and right issues, but up and down all the time, up and down. But I know that when it's coming up, or I'm sorry, it's not coming up, I'm raising it up. I know that when it's dropping out of the picture, that I've shot for so long and practiced for so much that I know that my hand, even though it's dropping, I know that my mind is always pulling it back up, pulling it back up, pulling it back up. So if I just trust my process and squeeze the trigger nice and slow, if I'm at a point where my pin is down, I know that I'm automatically pulling it up, and I've just got to trust that my process is pulling it back up to the center. Now, when you're up close, 20, 30, 40 yards, even if you are dropped down a little bit when it goes off, it's not really going to affect you. But out there at that range, generally you can get a really low hit. But, I mean, you can't be perfect, babe. Just got to try your best to be perfect. So that's what I'm working on today. So far, all of my arrows are hitting pretty good. So I'm going to say my 90-yard pin is good, and I don't use bought sight tapes. I get a piece of duct tape, and I start marking yardages until I get everything marked, and then I'll go back and make the one that has everything, and I'll be the one I hunt with. And I'll make one, and I'll put it on my little box where all my tapes are, and I'll leave it, and I'll mark it Matthews V327, 70 pounds, 29.5 inch draw. I know that's my sight tape. And then I'll go ahead and add my arrow Easton Axis 5mm with the outsert, and put all the weight, what vanes I use, tack vanes on these. But I'm also using some, when I ran out of vanes and couldn't get none back home, I bought some, good Lord, come out of here. Some boning, or I don't know if it's boning, but some heat vanes. So both of these are shooting exactly the same. So weight of the arrow, I haven't technically weighed the vanes, but they're not enough to hurt. So anyway, I'm I'm gonna try to find me a way to get back to 100. Okay, so here's what I'm trying. Look, I'm tucked in these weeds. This is about as far as I can get and still see that target. So I had to cut a few limbs off of this tree right here. I'm shooting at that same white bag way out there. I'm at 109 yards. And so I had to use a pin gap. My pins, I can't roll my sight down any further. Right, as far as it'll go. So I'm basically going to use a 100-yard mark on my tape. Hold on, I'll show you. This is going to be my experiment. I have no idea where that hit, but what I wanted to do is see where it hits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my sight tape right here on my 100-yard mark, right there. Then I'm going to use the top of my bubble right there. I'm going to use the top of my bubble as my pin and see where it hits while I'm on my 100. Might be good for 109, I don't know. But if it hits low, then I can make a mark to roll my 100-yard, roll my pin that's on 100, maybe roll it down to a yard or something like that. But still use the top of my bubble to get it up. Or if I'm high, I can go up above my red mark and use still using the top of my bubble. And what I'll do is those marks I'll change from red to black. So that way I know that means I've used the top of the bubble for 110. And then I don't know if I'll do 120 or not. Out here I can't even find a place to get to 120. Oh, it's not bad. It hit a little high. So I'll show you. My left and right still good. I had my bubble, the top of my bubble right there. That's about 6 inches high. So what I'll do is I'll mark that. Well, I don't have to mark anything right now because I'm on my 100-yard mark. I'll go up above my 100-yard mark to about, say, 99 yards. What I think would be 99 yards, I'll mark it in black. So if I have it here at 110 yards, well, I'm not technically saying I'm going to shoot at one, but I will antelope. They're thin skinned and easy to penetrate. But I will be able to just roll my 100-yard mark up to 99, use the top of the bubble, and I know that's 110. So that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna see what happens. All right, well, now I got a freaking left to right wind. It's hard to sight in a bow at 110 yards with crosswind. So I'm gonna go down there in the creek bottom and check out my 50, 40, 30, and 20. Make sure they're dead on. I think I got them up and down good though. I shot my first one. Well, I haven't been up to the target yet, but I shot my first one and I looked with my rangefinder. I know it was still 6 inches high. This wind carried it about, I don't know, maybe 4 inches right. So the second one, I adjusted my pin and aimed to the left, and it hit to the left. So, all right, so this is my first one that I know the wind got. Aiming here with the top of my bubble. Hit there. I adjusted my pin a tiny bit and I aimed left. Didn't change up and down at all. And it hit where I was aiming. So that's why I hate messing with this shit in the wind. Because you never know. And I'm down in a hole down this trail back here. I'll show you. So I don't feel the wind up there when it gusts. Like right now, there's no wind. So I'm not going to worry about my left and rights right now. This will aim center. And if it scoots over to the right 4 or 5 inches, I'm going to call it the wind. If it don't, I'm going to say there was no wind. So, but what I am going to do is, man, I got to keep rolling up on that sight. So right now, I ended up rolling it up about only a couple of yards. So I guess the distance between my 50-yard sight pin and my bubble was not nearly enough distance. I mean, it was too spread out of a distance. It caused me to shoot too high. So I'm gonna run this. I'm gonna run it to be about 95 and a half. I'm gonna put my actual pin on 95 and a half. Then use my bubble. I should be in there. I'll show you where we got right now. So, hold on. So, here's what we got. This mark right here, that's my new 100-yard mark. So my 90-yard mark is here. And I'm only a couple yards up to this pointer. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll up to about 90, what would be 95 if I was gonna use this pin. And then use the top of my bubble right there. And I think that's gonna put me in the money. If it does, then all I gotta do is go home and build a new sight tape. Put on my bow and go chase some lopes, speed goats. Or I like to call them filthy little prairie prowlers. All right, let's go see. So what I was gonna show you guys is, see how I'm down in this tunnel. I'm actually standing in that hole right there. Right there. Standing right here like this. But I'm facing this way. Drawing back with all these damn sticks in my way. But hey, practice like you hunt, baby. So I'm drawing back here. I'm shooting. Now I'll show you my sight picture. So let me set this bow down. Here's my sight picture. Right here you can see where I cut these limbs. I just broke them over. Right there. And I'm looking at that white target. We'll go check it out. I just shot one with the setting, just like I showed you guys. Oh, I'll give you another good tip too if you're hunting out here. Make you some kind of a, you can buy them high dollar ones from Matthews if you got money to blow, or you can make one, put on your bow, it will stay to the side like that, and you can shoot with it on there. And then when you got to make that trek, you got to make that hike up that hill, you just throw it on your shoulder and take off. So anyways, we're gonna go check this out real quick, see what we got. So most important, what's the most important thing? Shooting your bow. Develop yourself a shot process. Doesn't matter what it is, whatever works for you. Me, I'm always saying, even when I'm in a tree stand, even if I'm on my knees, it goes through my head. Stance, grip, draw, sight picture, pull, 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 pull. That's what I tell myself. Now, whether I'm pulling with a back tension like a thumb button, or I'm just pulling like with this rest, I still pull. I'm still pulling until expanding my chest is how I do it. I take my back shoulders and I kind of do them like that. I get my bow up there, I pull, 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 pull. As I'm pulling, I have this finger locked around this trigger. And as I'm pulling, it fires. Now, the reason that I like to use this button, this style when I'm hunting, is because I can command shoot it. If I draw back, he's standing out there eating, doing whatever he's doing. No worries in the world, has no clue I'm here. He's standing dead still. I can pull, 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 pull. So pop. But if he's chasing the doe or running around, won't be still, whatever it is, I can be on him and I can shoot whenever I want to shoot. Woo, baby. Now we're in the business. I'm always happy with a little bit of lope. So that's 110 yards. I adjusted it to that range. Put the center of my bubble right there, top edge of my bubble centered up. Bam, baby. We're gonna call that one good. One more tip of the day. Use the bubble on your bow sight. You may think it's not important because you've been practicing your yard at 20 and 30 yards. But I'm gonna tell you, when you get up in the tree and you crank over like this, you're gonna twist your bow and you're not even gonna know it. Look at that bubble. Level your bow back up. You ever been up in a tree 20 yards, maybe 30 yards? If you're like me, you get up there 30 feet. Or if you're like my buddy Matt, you get up there 40 feet. He's got monkey in him, or squirrel. Maybe he's a squirrel monkey. Anyway, you get up there like that, and you made a shot, and you're like, man, how did I hit him in the liver? Or how did I hit that shoulder? I had it right on him. It's 20 yards. It's because your bow, instead of being like this, when you lean over, naturally your body, because of your waist, this part of your waist, no matter how hard you try, it wants to kick in. If you got to do a steep bend like that, you can't just keep your body straight and bend without your legs doing something, or you ain't shooting that close. So as you bend, your body twists. When your body twists, your upper body twists. And watch this arm right here straight. Now watch me bend. Now, if I put the camera like that, look, it's not straight anymore. So I look at my bubble and I square it up. And when your bow is twisted, if you're half a bubble out, that means your pin is off to the right or the left. I guess it'd be off to the right if you're right-handed. Maybe off to the left if you're left-handed, I don't know. Anyway, use your bubble, guys, to go through your shot sequence. Always, always, always use your shot sequence. Doesn't matter if it's a chip shot or if you're shooting for $100 against your buddy at 60 yards. You're trying to shoot a quarter. Always go through your shot sequence. Here you go. Here's me. Stance, grip, draw, anchor. Pull, 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 pull. Sometimes I used to do a grip. I used to do it like this: grip, stance, anchor, pin. Didn't work good. So for now, I don't even say it to myself. It's just natural. I look at my stance, I check my grip, I draw, pull, 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 pull. And for the longest time, I used to have to tell myself, squeeze and hold, because I had a bad habit of dropping my bow arm. I was either over bowed, too heavy, or just trying to see where the arrow hit. So it used to be squeeze and hold, squeeze and hold, squeeze and hold. And then the other one that I went to was, I wanted to practice, I wanted to drill to make sure I never dropped my bow arm. I wanted to shoot an hour a day in my backyard. I didn't care if I was 10 yards away, blank belling or whatever. I just tell myself, hold, 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 hold. Even after my shot goes, hold, 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 hold. And in my mind, I'm telling myself, do not let your pin get off of your target until you hear that arrow hit. So it's jaw back, hold, 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 then down. Try your best to work on a lot of things. Well, let me tell you, I think the biggest thing that makes most people miss, it's either miss low and right, or low and left, or just dipping out the bottom, missing completely, is dropping your bow arm. If there's one drill you should ever practice, or part of your shot sequence, keep in your mind, it's hold that bow up till you hear your arrow hit. Well, I do it a lot, especially when I'm shooting ridiculous ranges. I want to see the arrow fly. I always paper tune, but I'm a big advocate of arrow flight. If it's shooting through paper at 20 yards and you get a bullet hole with a bare shaft and you can shoot the hair off a gnat's ass, that's great. But if you go outside and you put a fletching on your arrow and you're shooting 60, 70, 80 yards and your arrow's flying through the air like this, the paper tune didn't do what you needed it to do for long distance shooting. So I'll walk back to my bow, and a lot of it's based off of arrow flight. I'll have someone stand behind me and watch, or I'll have someone video it and watch, or I can shoot with both eyes open out to 40. I can't do it out to 50, but out to 40 I can shoot with both eyes open, and I can really watch that arrow fly. and I'll adjust my rest with these adjustments based off of that to get that arrow flight out of there. And I've just done it for long enough that I can literally, if my arrow's kicking like this, I can tell which way I need to adjust my rest. And then if I adjust it and don't go away, I just go the other way. So there you go. Always get that stance up, squeeze with your back tension, keep some pressure on your bow. If you'll practice in your yard, you'll notice a lot of these bows has like 80% let off, 85, 90. The let off isn't a big deal. What matters is the size of the valley in the bow. So like this Mathews, it has 85% let off mod on it, but it has a really short valley. And I'll show you what I'm talking about right here. So when I draw this bow back, it's coming. Okay, right there, I'm in the valley. Now the valley, the let off is how much you're holding after you crank it back, right? The valley is how much you can move forward without the bow taking off on you. So right here, that's it. It's wanting to go. Just when you relax, it's wanting to go. So you take like a Bowtech or Elite or something like that that has a huge valley in it. When you draw it back and you want to let it down, you've probably all had them bows where you feel like you got to push it forward. Well, then all of a sudden it jerks your hand. It has a huge valley. Mathews, Hoyt, small valley. I like it better because that keeps tension on the string. So when you have a bow that has a huge valley, a lot of people has a tendency to relax. Well, when you relax, there's no pressure between this hand and this hand. And if you'll take a bow like that, and you'll start practicing in your backyard and watch your pin, and as you're pulling your back tension, you'll see when you start, your pin will be like this. As you're pulling and pulling, it'll get to a point where it almost stops. That's how you want to set your release to go off. That's where you're holding the steadiest on tight. So when you're all the way relaxed, everything's just loosey-goosey, right? As you're pulling tension, you get that bone-on-bone contact, and you're using good back tension, and you pull, there's a certain point to where you're at your best place you can be, and your pin will slow down. And if you're using a thumb button or something like that, you want to set the tension to go off at that point. If you're using an index finger, then you're just going to have to learn how to command your shot and hold that point. But what I'll do is I lock my finger on here, and I have it set to where I don't tighten my strap super tight. I have it a little loose, and that way when I'm pulling, it has a little bit of slack to pull forward, which fires. So when I'm pulling and I get to that point, I've got it set up just like I have this set up. When I hit that best point where my pins are moving the least, this will move just a hair and it'll fire. Or I can command shoot it with this, which I do most of the time, because I prefer to be able to pull the trigger when I got the pin on the spot I want to hit. But that's just me. Anyway, that's tips for today, especially shooting long range. Guys, go practice, have a lot of fun, kill some shit. Post it and show all your buddies and be proud. I'll let you later.